you've got a Chinese or you've got Algerian.
Yeah.
Why is it a controversy around them? But then the Europeans are quick to... But the controversy comes around when I think they've been drug tested before. There's been a bit...
Quite a few of the other countries have been a bit against some of the Chinese swimmers in general.
Look, even the Italian boxer that she did beat after 40 seconds, she actually came out and apologised for her behaviour. Pakistan's first ever gold Olympic medal.
Yes.
In which India came second over.
Big shout out to Neeraj Chopra as well. Who got
the silver.
Fair enough. Yeah, we can't forget the silver.
Yeah. Some people say that he's killed the transfer. So. Harry podcast episode 3, and today we're going to go through some of the transfers, but we're going to be discussing the Olympics to start off with, so give it a listen. So guys, what do you think and what are the updates on the Olympics? I know there's been a massive talking point about this female boxer.
I think there's been quite a lot of talking points from this Olympics too. That's all I'm seeing.
Yeah.
It used to be a bit different with the Olympics where it was okay, Usain Bolt. You look forward to watching him race. Or you used to have, a few different events that you look forward to, but this, or Michael Phelps swimming, but this Olympics just seems more full of quite controversy more than anything.
Yeah, yes. I think there's a bit more, obviously the whole introduction of the Olympics, the ceremony, I think that was a bit controversial. The whole starting was controversial, so I think it's kind of gone into the tournament as well.
I mean, for anyone that didn't see it, I think it was to do with them. Did you manage to see the Olympic opening ceremony?
No, but I saw a few clips of Snoop Dogg.
So one is Snoop Dogg. I don't know where Snoop Dogg's.
I did hear something really. Sorry, I did hear something really. I don't know if
I heard this as well.
It's about he's earning about 18 million.
I'm not
for
sure
the whole 2 or 3 weeks, however long it's gone on for. For the whole bit. He's earning 18 million for it. I don't know how true that is.
So I think the actual controversy originally, was it surrounding was it that the portrait of the Last Supper that they were portraying something a bit different?
Yeah, that's what I got from it, from what I read, that it was something to do with the Last Supper.
Alright.
And but
so you know how you have Jesus in the Last Supper,
and then
I think they were kind of I don't know. Would you say taking the Mickey out of it, or they were portraying something completely different? And
see, look, there's two sides of it.
They tried to say it wasn't. That's what we're doing. But we were doing. There was no way you could.
It was the way they did it. It was pure. Totally it was that. Yeah. It's. I don't see. Look, it's a bit controversial because it's a lot controversial actually. It depends what your views are on it, and in terms of anything else, I think it started off controversially and it's still going on in the whole Olympics, this controversy. So coming on to the first one that we're going to discuss is the female boxer. And what I've heard of her is that she's born with an XY chromosome. Look, I can't really.
I'm not into.
I'm not the whole technicality.
Her name's Iman Khalif. She's an Algerian boxer.
Correct.
And from what I understood was that, similar to you, that she was born with rather than XX.
She was that's
right. So she's got a higher testosterone level.
Correct. Yeah.
And she punched that Italian boxer in the face, and she kind of cried.
Yeah. She has lost before in the Olympics. Yeah. I think it was. Is it Tokyo Olympics? I'm not 100%, but she's lost before in the Olympics. There was the person that she lost, the woman that she lost to, sorry, in the Olympics before. She commented on Twitter, and she was kind of in defence of her to say that. I've always known her she's known her to be a woman, and if she was to get any evidence or if anything concrete to suggest otherwise, then there's something different. Then obviously she shouldn't be able to compete. But for me, I think personally, there are cases like this that are out there in the world, and if she's brought up to be a woman, she's got everything about her is a woman, then we can only refer, from my opinion, I can only refer her as a woman, unless again, if someone was to give me some hardcore evidence to suggest otherwise, then that's what it is. If tomorrow they test her and they say that she's been injecting testosterone into a level of substance abuse, and then fair enough, like I can then go back on my but
a bit different substance abuse to what hers is.
Hers
natural.
is so, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's
so
not something that
what
she
I've
can help.
exactly what I've read of it is natural. It's
even
not,
her parents and all her fans came up with few evidence showing her passport, her birth certificate and stuff like that to the media, but
I think there's an agenda just against it, isn't there?
Yeah,
Once someone picks up on stuff like that, they
the issue you have with the media, certain platforms, is that once something gets on there, it kind of makes a judgment on a person's belief straight away.
Exactly.
And then you get some people that don't really want to change that belief, even though they could be wrong.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, she's been caught up in this.
And people people like J.K. Rowling and Donald Trump backing up these things. These influential people who comes supporting this general gender agenda. These makes up the situation even more worse.
Oh yeah.
We see, look, like you said, if a celebrity comes in and backs up a certain point that you've got, like that you actually like, as a someone, if I was to go on Twitter and someone that I like comes up with a certain agenda, even though I'm not doing it and I'm not admitting to it, but my views might change slightly. They shouldn't do, but they might change. That's exactly like that.
But especially with someone like Donald Trump and J.K. Rowling, they're already controversial characters anyway.
Yeah.
But for them to weigh in on this and the supporters that they have, it just influences them even more to go down the wrong way. But again, look, even the Italian boxer that she did beat after 40 seconds, she actually came out and apologised for her behaviour.
Yeah.
And actually, Imon Khalif since then has actually gone on to win the gold.
The gold, yeah. I've seen it on. I've seen.
I think that's going to be a kick in the teeth.
I think it was yesterday she won the gold.
Yeah, it was yesterday she went on to win the gold.
I think that, like you said, it's going to be a bit of a
congratulations to her.
Yeah, congratulations.
Guys, do let us know in the comments what your thoughts are on this particular topic, and we'll see if we can discuss it in the next episode. Your comments and your thoughts. Yeah. The next thing we probably wanted to discuss in the Olympics was Pakistan's first ever gold Olympic medal.
Yes.
In which India came second over.
Yeah. You have still got a silver medal though.
To be fair. I mean, that was amazing, especially for Pakistan and its people. And for us as well, you know, okay, we're not born and bred in Pakistan, but our families back home, everyone's from Pakistan, so it means a lot when things like this happen. And even for the Pakistani people, and the government have actually issued a commemorative stamp of him with the javelin, and
great.
he actually broke an Olympic record with his
I think it was 92.5, I think.
I think I saw a story as well, if you went back like a year, he couldn't even afford to buy a javelin.
So,
and he was actually going around trying to raise money for it, and people wouldn't do it. And then, then a select few people actually helped him to get one. And look at it now, he's an Olympic champion, and it's completely changed his whole life.
No, it's true. It's from what he was. Yeah, I didn't know that, to be fair.
I read about it yesterday, so I thought, wow, not even be able to buy a javelin. And
he's now going to inspire a lot of people in Pakistan, especially the rural part of Pakistan. He's definitely going to influence many more talents there, I guess.
All it takes is from how many of a certain people you've got, a few thousand or few in that village or in that area, just to pick up a javelin and do something, and you might get 2-3 more.
Well, there's loads of talent.
Yeah, of course.
We've already spoke about it before as well. And even in India. Cricket is obviously like the dominating sport.
Yes. In Pakistan, cricket, I think, probably, and then hockey.
But even with in India, very successful in cricket. Pakistan have been successful in patches. But
it's unpredictable.
That's always is. But one thing you always talk about with both of them is that the amount of talent there actually is in the villages, in the locals, that doesn't get recognised because of things like corruption. Because it's more about who you know.
More than,
I mean, look, it's like that everywhere. It's more who you know, but you know, and I know, in England, if you're a player, you've got more chance of getting through. If you're talented.
Opportunities,
because there's different opportunities.
But
in Pakistan, for example, if you're someone's nephew, if you're someone's son,
Yeah.
The controversy is, look at the cricketer.
Families.
The cricketer, was he Moin Khan's son?
Yeah, I can't remember his name now.
Yeah.
But he was completely out of shape, and not for someone that should be. Look, I'm not saying you shouldn't be playing cricket. We're in no position to say that, but you can't be completely unfit and unhealthy like that, and then be playing for an international
For my opinion,
nation.
it's the respect you have for that sport.
Yeah.
You've got to keep in shape. You've got to keep like your well-being's got to be right for you to get in, because you might have other stars that behind the scenes that really putting in the work and the effort and got the drive to get there.
Yeah.
But because of someone who knows someone as such, someone is getting into that team, that's for me a bit unfair. But unfortunately, in places like Pakistan, and to India. A degree in India, I'd say India's a lot better than Pakistan.
Yeah, but again, I think India has the similar thing.
Has similar.
India has such a massive population, as does Pakistan.
Yeah.
You can you still get like the Virat Kohlis, the Dhonis that come through, Tendulkars, etc. Exactly.
There you go.
That says it all. So you've got more of a chance of them still getting through, but it's still about who you know and who you don't know.
Yeah. But seeing this javelin Ashraf Nadeem, it was
a great achievement.
It was
unbelievable. Really.
It was really good. Just seeing it when I was scrolling through Twitter and seeing it, an alert come up say breaking, he's done it, and then watching the video of him actually throwing the javelin. It was incredible. Even when you see his result come through, I think it was his trainer that was in the crowd.
Yeah,
and he jumped up, and he was like, it was everyone else. And you could see one guy with a green shirt on, got a Pakistan hat on, and he's cheering up like that. That kind of does it did bring back it brought back little memories when you were a kid and you were watching Pakistan play cricket. Yeah. And they would one out of 100 beat India.
It's true. It's like supporting the underdog kind of thing. But anyway, congratulations to him.
Yeah. And a big shout out to Neeraj Chopra as well. Who got
silver. Fair enough. Yeah, we can't forget the silver. Not gold, but we can't forget the silver. I'm joking. No, it's fair enough. Yeah, they've both done really well, to be honest with you. Moving on from that, so we wanted to. I think we pretty much covered the Olympics in what we wanted to talk about. The only other thing that we were going to sort of touch on was the controversy around the swimming. Yeah. So I think it was Pan from China. Who he broke his own world record by quite a big way, and I actually watched this one live. Yeah. And everyone was shocked, and they were saying like it's a slow swimming pool, but I haven't got a clue what a slow swimming pool is. I don't know what a slow swimming pool is. If anyone does know what it is,
for the audience,
let us know in the
not
comments.
Only to address obviously the swimming controversy, but to congratulate the Pakistan javelin gold medalist as well, and what your thoughts on that is in terms of where he's been through and what he's been through to get to where he has. So it's a good bit for you guys to comment about. But going back onto the swimmer,
if anyone does know what a slow swimming pool is or a fast swimming pool, I would like to know, please. Yeah. Thank you.
But anyway, everyone would like to know that. I think half anyone that's not really experienced would definitely need to know that, because I guess it could be like when you're playing cricket and you get a fast pitch and a slow pitch, maybe something like that.
What makes water fast and slow? But anyway, so going back to it, apparently Pan was he broke his own world record by 0.4 of a second. I think 0.4 of a second. So he was way ahead. I mean, he completely destroyed the opposition. But the controversy comes around when I think they've been drug tested before. There's been a bit of a cloud over them. They were cleared, to be fair. And then the Australian that came second, I think his name was Kyle or something off the top of my head. He kind of questioned it and said, "This is not right. It's not possible." Etc. And again, we come back to that thing that I kind of find it's this sort of, it's kind of Western European versus kind of the rest of the world.
But looking at it in both ways, one thing you shouldn't do is you shouldn't come out with a statement like that without hard evidence.
Yeah, I mean, you've got nothing.
Exactly, you've got nothing. Been cleared. He's emotional, but then we spoke about it in one of the podcasts before, where sometimes someone's in the zone and they're emotional and they get too carried away with it. but this is the other side.
far,
Yeah,
that's
100%. I can't. I wouldn't with the Australian. I wouldn't agree. You can't.
Just to correct myself, I don't think it was the swimmer that said it. It was his coach.
His coach. Okay.
So the Australian coach that said that it's not possible to do that.
I did hear once. I didn't watch it, but I've heard that quite a few of the other countries have been a bit against some of the Chinese swimmers in general.
Which I understand, but then it's like saying when Usain Bolt completely destroyed everyone in the 100 meters.
No one was
saying that. There was no one saying
it's
not possible or this, because that record that he hit.
Yeah.
I mean, no one's ever seen that. No one's probably going to see it for a very long time.
Yeah.
But that's what they are. The records are there to be broken.
Exactly. If you see some of his races, he'd kind of slow down towards the end when he knows he's won, and he thought, yeah, you know what, I'll get the record, but then my next race I'll beat it again because I know I can beat it again.
I mean, another example is there was a French swimmer.
Yeah.
And he apparently in the same session he won 2 golds.
Yeah.
That's never been done before. But there was no one saying, it's not possible.
Yeah.
Michael Phelps, who's the most decorated Olympian, he never did it.
Exactly.
So it's saying that why is it when for example, you've got a Chinese or you've got Algerian.
Yeah.
Why is it a controversy around them? But then the Europeans are quick to not judge. I find it a double standard.
It is, but like obviously look at Australia. They're not in Europe in terms of
not necessarily European, but they are Westernized.
It's just a bit difficult to touch upon it because how I see it anyways, because you shouldn't be saying something like that without evidence to suggest. Yeah. Because if it goes into the media, which it did, it then kind of clouds people's judgment
on how good
straight away. Regardless of what's gone on, what the facts are, they will make a judgment on that person saying that. Now, the Chinese swimmer Pan, who broke that record, will always have that cloud, regardless of him being proven innocent as well.
Yeah. Yes.
Now look, the female boxer we'll go back to, she will, if and when she's cleared, in my opinion, she'll still have that judgment over her. And that's not fair. And it's same with Pan. If and when he's cleared, I wouldn't know too much about it, but when he's cleared, he will have that judgment.
But this is the problem. He's already been cleared.
So
he's been cleared before he comes into this event.
Exactly.
But now because he's better than he was before it's another cloud over his head.
Look, the issues we know as well, that the Chinese have always been good at the Olympics. It's always from what I've known, between China and America all the time. Yeah. Great Britain, to be fair, have done really well since the 2012 the Olympics in London. Yeah, they've done really well. They're starting to hit that 4th or 3rd spot, and it's really nice to see that they're doing really well, because it's really good to see, because they weren't doing that well in the Olympics when I was a lot younger. So they weren't, and now they're doing really well, and it's really good to see our own athletes doing well, because you have got a few that have excelled in their category. Now, in terms of the controversy with the Chinese guys, they've always been good. So it's kind of, if you want to be the best, you've got to work to get to the best.
True, yeah,
you've got to work as hard as them, or you've got to work harder than them to be the best.
Absolutely.
And no offense to some of the Australian team, you might have not worked as hard as them. You have worked hard, but they've just probably worked harder to get to that.
Might have worked as hard,
but just not as good.
But I think this is always going to be a problem with the Olympics. Yeah. There's always some kind of doping agenda or incident or a cloud over an athlete's head, or someone breaks a record. 6 months later, they find that they're positive for taking X, Y, or Z. So I don't know. They've got to somehow get around it. Kind of like boxing.
Boxing. I was just about to say boxing.
Similar thing. You know, someone wins and you're thinking, "Wow, he's really good." But 2 minutes later, he's got a.
But then it's like boxing. Like you said, you've got so many associations. One association will let them fight. The other association is banned. So it's a bit like the boxing. Like the female boxer, she was banned in the World Championship. She was banned for the World Championship,
but she's okay.
But then she's okay for like.
They kind of need to streamline it, don't they? So they've got like one governing body and makes one decision.
Makes one decision. A bit like you could kind of have like FIFA, who's the top, and then you've got obviously UEFA and the other authorities, divisions in terms of rest of the world. So maybe something like that to control it all.
But guys, let us know your thoughts.
Yes.
And really, just in general on the Olympics, are you someone that watches it? Are you someone that's enjoyed it? Are you tired of the controversy? Kind of like we are. We've probably spent the best part of 20 minutes just discussing
the controversy.
Exactly. You know, rather than actually celebrating the athletes that are accumulating these amazing achievements. But anyway, let us know in your comments. Let us know your thoughts, and hopefully we can discuss it on the next episode. Moving on from that, guys, should we now look at some of the transfers?
Yeah.
I know first you had a bit of a rant that you wanted to get off of Fabrizio Romano. So
I didn't have a rant.
No,
Basically, what I've heard...
before you rant.
I'm just about to start.
Before you rant.
Just about to start.
So for anyone that doesn't know, Fabrizio Romano is, I would say, he's a journalist.
All right.
And he was originally, if you went back
Give him his flowers. He's a journalist.
If you went back maybe about 3 or 4 years ago, I'd say he was very good at reporting in the transfer window. So Arvin, what happens is, for someone that's like us, we've been following football for years and years, for someone that's a bit new to it, you get transfers, obviously, from, we've discussed that before, from one team to another. Fans get excited about it, etc., etc. But it's more about what starts happening is you start getting links. So you start getting little bits of information in the media saying, for example, Man United are interested in signing Ronaldo.
All right.
You see that as a fan, you get excited. You think, wow. But what you have to look at is the source that's reported that news credible. So is it me who doesn't know Ronaldo, doesn't know his agent? Am I just saying it, or is it someone credible? So this guy Fabrizio is credible. So he's someone that when he says something, you think,
lots of people
it could be happening now. So you really get excited about it.
So you know, if be backed up by evidence.
Yeah, but he's good at that because his track record shows that he's pretty much right all the time when he says it. You've got his sort of counterpart, which is David Ornstein, who is someone that is always right. He's always on the money. When he tweets, you know it's happening.
A bit like your Messi versus Ronaldo.
It's kind of that.
They are really, they are
the
like
journalist world.
top
They are like
dogs
top tier. But anyway, I'm going to let you get your rant off now.
No,
So that was
look,
an introduction to who Fabrizio is. Now we're going to let Ash get his rant.
Mine's not actually a rant. What it is that as the audience will know as well, the ones that follow football, there's a bit of controversial controversy behind him. It's been a summer of controversy.
I think we should just name this episode controversy.
It's pretty. I think
we've got the name nailed.
It's a summer of controversy. But some people say that he's killed the transfer. So when we were young, you'd hear someone sign for Chelsea. You might see like a little bulletin on. I was young as say on Sky Sports say Chelsea sign X player, Y player, like that. So Chelsea signed Hazard, or Hazard's chosen to go to Chelsea. You didn't really get much of Fabrizio or David Ornstein in that time, even in that era.
Yeah.
And you can even go back further to when Roman Abramovich first took over of Chelsea, and you'd get the signings of say Varane, Damien Duff, etc. Like that, and you never had someone like Fabrizio then or anything like that, and you just say Chelsea signed someone, so you don't know what the background's gone into it. But Fabrizio kind of stages all that, so he'll say Chelsea are interested in, or Man United are interested in a player, then they'll say Man United have put a bid in, might be rejected, etc.
But he doesn't even do that now. So what a transfer window is, what happens is when a certain date, so I think is it 1st of July.
Yeah.
So when the Premier League season finishes, or any season finishes, so not just Premier League, from the 1st of July to like I think the end of September.
End of September 20.
So the end of September. In between that time, the players can transfer from one club to another.
Yeah.
There's different stipulations around that depending on how many times they moved, etc. But that's the kind of window they can do it in. So Fabrizio is someone that he used to just be good, where he just used to say, okay, his tagline's always here we go, which means the move's done. And he would say, here we go, Ronaldo moving to Man United, or here we go, Ronaldo moving to Real Madrid when he went. But now what he's kind of does is he regurgitates the same thing. So he'll say, okay, so-and-so is interested in buying this player. 10 minutes later, so-and-so is really interested in buying this player. 20 minutes later, so-and-so has made contact with this player. So-and-so, and it gets a bit boring because you feel like you're hearing about the same thing. Whereas with David Ornstein, who's the complete opposite, he just puts out one tweet and says, right, this is where it is. Man United agree 55 million euro deal to sign De Ligt.
People online call it the Ornstein dagger. So
or the Oni bomb.
Like that.
So he just comes in, says it, and he's gone. There is no. He doesn't keep tweeting about the same thing, about 15 different times.
For me, in Fabrizio's defence, I don't think it's necessarily him doing that. Obviously, he tweets it, but I think there's so many fans and people out there on his comments that would ask, "Oh, what's an update? What's an update?" So rather than him going through every single tweet and saying, "Oh, this is the update, this is the update," I think he just puts out a general thing.
I know that, but then the same people do it against Ornstein, but he doesn't do that. So it's like just if there's news to give. Give the news, fair enough. But if you're just going to repeat the same thing you said 2 hours ago, it's just it gets a bit boring and it gets a bit stale. You're thinking like and he starts tweeting about literally every step of the move. Like the guys, he just went to the toilet. Now he's going to leave the toilet and he's going to get in the car. I'm giving you examples. I think I'm starting to rant right now. He's in the toilet, now he's getting in the car, now he's getting in the car to the plane and the plane to here.
To defend Fabrizio, not to condemn him. No, Omar's doing it, but my mine was to defend him because I just keep hearing so many people say, "Oh, he's killing the transfer market." Yes, to a degree, fair enough, but I don't think
he's killing the transfer market. He's killing the buzz that he used to have. So when we were younger, we used to watch sort of Deadline Day on Sky Sports. So Sky Sports used to have Deadline Day, which was the last day you could do any deals.
Alright.
But you could actually, it was boring. For anyone that doesn't like football, it's boring.
Yeah. When is the Deadline Day this year?
So it's always at like the end of September, like the 31st. So Sky Sports used to have like a dedicated day to it.
Jim White,
wasn't it? So they used to have 8 journalists around the grounds and, it was like, Arsenal about to do a last minute signing and Chelsea about to do. I used to love it.
Yeah, it was Torres, I think.
This, I think now that's
gone.
Who
was it? It was a player.
50 million.
Yeah, but who was it that went to like?
I remember we signed Arshavin right on the last day of the January transfer window.
It was. Is it Adam Wingy who drove all the way to QPR and out there? There's so many
player that before he'd even been transferred.
Yeah.
He went and drove to the team that he was going to get transferred to, but it was no deal agreed.
No deal
nothing.
Agreed.
And he's just sitting outside.
Yeah. So the clubs have to agree a deal.
Yeah.
So the two clubs in those cases, I think it would have been Stoke. Was it Stoke and QPR? Or was it
West Brom?
West Brom and QPR.
I don't know.
And they had to agree a deal amongst each other for Adam Wingy to go there, but they hadn't done that. So he still drove all the way to QPR and was outside their ground in a car waiting for them to agree. So then he could go in and sign his contract, but the agreement never happened. So
anyway, you did used to have like a buzz, but it's totally gone.
Stuff like that, stories like that.
Guys, let us know in the comments again. Do you think Fabrizio has, in Ashersworth, killed the transfer? You said it.
No. Whoa, I went through this rant to defend him. You were condemning him.
I'm asking you.
I'm just saying, has he killed the transfer
clarification, guys? You can go back. I'm right 99% of the time.
9%. Everyone can remember 9%.
Well, it seems to be a lot. This 9%. The 81% the 91% that I'm not right. That was one of the 91%.
So, anyway, guys, comment in to say, are you team Fabrizio or are you team Omar? In this case,
Team Ornstein.
Team Ornstein. But
so moving on from that, we're just going to have a bit of a chat about some of the big transfers. I would say the big transfers that have took place. We start with Man United.
Yeah, I think Man United is a good place to
we've
start.
seen Man United obviously have signed. Is Euro they've signed?
They've signed Euro.
Euro approximately, I think, is about 65 million euros.
Yeah.
Or rising up to that.
It's getting up to that. I think they have initially signed him for 30 or 40, and then it gets up to that with add-ons. Yeah.
I think I don't know a lot about him. I knew that obviously Real Madrid were pretty much he was nailed on to go to Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether.
I'm getting confused. Not with the youngster centre back that you're on about. That Man United signed. They've also signed that striker, aren't they? He was only 30.
Xerxes.
Yeah, Xerxes.
Is it Xerxes?
Yeah. He did the Dutch striker. But sorry.
With Euro, I think I don't know a lot about him. I don't know how good he is. That's the truth. I'm not gonna just make out like
everyone's been linked with Chelsea anyway. Got him for the past 2-3 years. But there's no point putting that as. But he is meant to be highly rated.
I know he was kind of like nailed on to go to Real Madrid.
Yeah.
But Real Madrid wouldn't pay more than a certain amount for him.
That was
So
the
they
30
kind
or
of
40 million.
They kind of said to him that we will pay that much now if you want to come, but your contract runs out in a year, so we can take you for free anyway. But Man United then swooped in. Yeah, fair enough to him because they had to convince him to get
there. But but his is, I think, 50 or 60 million, to be fair, with a few add-ons. But his was quite a high price. But they have done that anyway before. They did it with Mason Mount last year, where they paid a bit over the odds to get him when he only had 1 year left on his contract. I don't know,
but maybe they had to get him out from Real Madrid because they thought if his contract
now,
runs out, he's going to go to Real Madrid. I mean, unluckily for them, he's injured for 3 months.
Exactly, yeah. When you look at it back now, it might have still been a bit of a risk, but at least they've got the player.
Well, I think he's 18, so you know, he's quite young. He's got time to improve. If there's anything like, he's French, I think. Isn't he?
He's French.
If there's anything like Saliba, you've got a hell of a player.
But you've got some not bad French players, to be fair, anyway, coming through. You've got a lot of youngsters, so they've got a brilliant team anyway. But that's
also, we've heard today that they've agreed a fee for De Ligt.
Yeah.
He's going to sign a 6-year contract. That's one of Aravin's players from Pro Evolution.
So you used to play for Juve with De Ligt? No, fair play. What, for the Dutch team or for when you used to play for Ajax?
No, I used to have him on my best team.
On your best team. Okay, fair enough. So yeah, you then are probably a bit more head of a fan. You're probably a bit more of an ultra fan for him.
Anyway, with De Ligt, I think it was a funny one because obviously he got his big move, didn't he, from Ajax to Juve. He went to
Juve,
and it was obviously he was amazing at Ajax that season that they had where they got to the Champions League semi-final. Obviously they got knocked out by Tottenham in the last minute. But they had a really good season that year, remember? And he moved to Juventus, never quite worked out.
The manager was Ten Hag then, wasn't it, though?
Ajax, was it?
Yeah, I'm not.
You might be right.
Could it have been? I'm
maybe
sure.
You might be right.
Yeah,
it might have been 10.
Because
I don't know. Was it?
Because he did make his move to Juve, and Juve had they brought back Leonardo Bonucci. I remember. I think Leonardo Bonucci went to AC Milan and then came back to Juve. And then they had Chiellini as well, and then they had Balzaghi. I think Balzaghi left after a year. I think De Ligt moved, and then the summer after, I think Balzaghi retired.
He never quite made it at Juve, and obviously
I think he spent quite some time at Juve.
I think it's a few seasons. And then he moved. He moved to Bayern Munich again. Never. I don't think even at Bayern Munich he kind of excelled. He was good, to be fair. When we played them in the Champions League, I thought he was quite good. But he never really
I don't know. I think he's not a bad defender for me.
No, I don't think so.
I think he's more of those
systems.
Yeah, it's a system player, but also I think he's more the modern day centre back where you plays with the ball well. I don't see him tactically that great. I don't think he can fit in a tactic team. But then again, look at Tuchel. Tuchel went in and he's like top dog when it comes to tactics, and him and both Eric Dyer look great together.
Yeah, they look good again.
They look really good.
But yeah, they signed. So they've made. I think it's quite good. So they've definitely strengthened at centre back.
Yeah. Is this his first Premier League team?
Yeah. He's not been to the Premier League before. So he's Ajax, Juventus, Bayern Munich, and now Man United.
Yeah, I think it'd be a good signing for him. I think they're signing a few players that look quite good.
Yeah.
They've signed that centre forward that we spoke about as well.
Again, I don't know a lot about him. To be honest.
That's what I'm saying. I think he just looks good, and a bit disappointed that he didn't come on in the Euros.
I think he came on.
Did he come on?
Yeah, he did. He came on once, but he didn't do a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't do a lot when you come
on. When you come on like that 5-10 minutes, fair enough. I didn't even know.
I know Man United have also signed a right back, I think, from Bayern Munich. I'm not 100% sure of his name. But
is he part of the De Ligt?
He's not part. He's separate. I think it was 20 million euros. It's like 15 plus 5 add-on.
Okay. But was that all dependent on? Okay.
West Ham. So
that's another team I want to address. West Ham. It's quite nice, guys. Just sorry to interrupt. If you want to put in the comments about the Man United players that they've signed, who you think that they could improve and their team by and sign again another person. Sorry, they could sign, and also what do you think of the signings they've currently made? Do you think any of them do well, or do you think it's more of a waiting game for them?
And even if we don't mention your team, if you want to just drop your team's name in there, who they've signed that you're excited about, maybe we can talk about them on the next episode.
But
coming
coming
back
on
to
to West Ham, I think they've signed a few players.
I can't count how many they might have signed now.
Yeah. They were. Sorry, it was Villa that were linked with João Felix, but I know they had Kudus from last year. He looked really good. They've signed that German forward. Is it from Dortmund?
Oh yeah, Nicholas. Is it Fulkrug?
Yeah.
I really liked him.
Yeah,
we watched him. You remember?
yeah.
We watched him for Dortmund when he was playing. He just looks like an old school centre
forward. I don't think,
and even for Germany, he was playing that time. Yeah,
I've not seen a striker like him in a while.
Time,
if I'm honest with you, I can't compare him to anyone else in this era in terms of the way he plays.
He just looks like a old school,
old school
with the headers.
Yeah, you
finisher.
You provide him with crosses and through balls, and I think he will do well with that. But West Ham going to be a team to watch next year. I think they're going to do quite well. If anything, I think we need to have a look at that. They're my one to watch team of the season.
I don't know. You know what it is with West Ham though. One thing I will say, they've done this before.
Yeah.
Where they've signed a lot of players, and then they've never given them a manager enough time, because you can't sign this many players and expect it all to work next season.
Yeah.
Just to gel 5 or 6 different individuals into a team where you've only got 11 players is difficult.
Yeah, but I think they've still kept quite a few of their old players.
No, it's good that they have, but it's how you introduce these players. If you're going to think, I'll take 5 out, put 5 in, it's not going to work.
No, but I remember when Pellegrini came in, I think they changed quite a lot of their stem of players.
Yeah, but you also got to remember they've changed the manager as well, so they're not just. They have made big changes, so they've got to give it time.
I agree.
If they're not, and the West Ham fans, sorry if you're a West Ham fan, you're a bit notorious of
kind of
wanting to get rid of the managers and not give it time. We all are sometimes, victim to that. But
because
look, David Moyes, I think they do have to give. Is it Areola? They have to give him time.
No, they've got. They haven't got Areola. They've got Lopetegui.
Oh my bad, sorry, Lopetegui.
Yeah, they've got Lopetegui. So they've what you call it. They need to definitely give him time. I think he is a good manager. When he went into Wolves, the reason he left Wolves was because he felt as though he wasn't getting backed. I think he gave him to look like January or the summer, and then he didn't see anything happening, and then he literally left.
Sorry, Areola's Bournemouth manager, isn't
Yeah. Fair enough. I know one thing you'll like is that if you're thinking something, you definitely have to make sure correct it before. But Lopetegui left, I think, a week before the season started last year. I think he left Wolves for that, but because he felt as though he was
Italian.
No, he's Spanish.
Was he the one that
left?
No,
he left
got
Spain.
The Spanish. So
I was thinking
this guy. He got the Spanish team national job. So the Spanish football team national job was a wicked job to have, because they win a lot. Yeah. And then I think before he even started, did he even manage any games for them?
I think he might have managed. No, I think you could be right.
I think before he even managed any games for them, he got linked with the Real Madrid job.
Yeah.
And I think
he was having secret meetings.
He was having secret meetings with Real Madrid.
Yeah.
So when the Spanish FA, the ones that hired him for the Spanish team, found out, they sacked him.
Yeah.
So he didn't even manage any games for Spain, and he got sacked straight away. Then he got the Real Madrid job, and I think he got sacked about 3 months after. So it'd be interesting to see how he does. I mean, we have this thing in the Premier League where we always get a lot of
I think he went to Sevilla after that, if I remember right.
I think he did quite well with them, didn't he?
Yeah, he did really well with them, I think.
So it'd be interesting to see how he gets on with West Ham.
Yeah. It'd be good. Look, don't get me wrong, I do know a bit about him, but I'm not an expert in him. I think I'm hoping he does well, because I like the way he plays his football, and I like the way he organises his team. I think Wolves, when they had him, played really good football. I think they were just missing that. They were with, is it Espirito? They kind of fell off a bit, where they were just kind of getting bored, or I don't know. The teams just didn't look as though they were happy playing. So it was good. But like I said, West Ham for me are going to be a team to watch out for.
All right. Do you think that West Ham is going to be on top 6? Or
I know, not top 6. I think we top off.
I think if you look at the top teams that you've got now, okay, you got Man City, Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, Tottenham, Villa, Newcastle. Yeah. I mean, literally, you could probably say West Ham.
But West Ham, I think, could be there.
No, they could. I'm not saying they couldn't, but you look at almost the top. It's not even a top 6.
Villa are another team that it's good to watch out for. That's another one.
I don't even know. The phrase top 6 now has kind of changed. I think it's more like you're looking at a top almost a top 9.
Yeah. But look, what it is the top 6 normally is the 3 teams from London and the 3 teams from up north, which is the 2 Manchester clubs and Liverpool, and then you've got Tottenham, Chelsea and Arsenal from London. They're the top, as you would say, traditional top 6. I don't know why Tottenham are in there, because they've literally won nothing for God knows how long.
Like 6.
No, but I'm just saying.
Tottenham fans, I don't like you because that's what Arsenal, but that was a cheap dig. That was a cheap one.
That was not a cheap
If you've got a cheap one that you want to fire back at him, put it in the comments.
This is something I was reading. It was like got
well,
6,000 days.
We know it's been
6,000 days.
There's a Twitter account that actually says he updates his name every day.
So
I'm
the part one that's doing the cheap dig, but there's someone here that's actually looking through an account to see how many days.
I'm not looking through. I'm just saying there is an account there. I'm not looking through it. We heard it first. Moving on. Should we go with Chelsea and the?
Breaking news yesterday.
There was a photo that I saw. Did you see that photo of the Chelsea team bus?
Yeah,
it's like a triple decker bus now.
Look, the truth is,
they've got about 60 players on their books now.
There was a woman on the overlap. I think yesterday I seen a clip of her on the overlap. I don't know her Twitter. To be fair, I've never met her before. She was saying something like about the owners to stop buying anything with a price tag on it. I think, look, I don't agree with it. I think the owners need to be given a chance. Every time I see any criticism of Chelsea, it's always aimed at Todd Boehly. And yes, he might have been the face of the ownership, but he's actually taken a step back. Mm-hmm. It's more the sporting directors. And for every criticism that they faced, even from me, I've criticised them loads on certain signings. I'm not gonna be wrong, but they have slowly. You can see the type of team they're trying to build, and then it shows that all we need to do is give them a bit of time, and that's even I need to take that in as well. The viewers will probably. It's a good actual point to say for the viewers. What do you guys think about what's happening at not only Chelsea and Man United and Liverpool? So if you could tell us in your comments that what you think's happening with them, who do you think they should buy as well, and what do you think the plan is for them with the new direction that they're going in? Because them 3 clubs are kind of going in a similar direction with this new way of ownership.
I think with Chelsea, the criticism that you're always going to get now
is holding the
is
price.
It's that as well. But I think the main point is always going to be, you've spent nearly 1.3 billion now.
But
where does it stop?
No, it's true. But if the 1.3 billion is the spending, but they've bought quite a lot of players. So if they were to spend 1.3 billion and buy 13 big signings that cost.
Yeah, I understand that, but it's the point. I think the point some people try and make is, where does it stop? You know what I mean? How do you know when you've kind of done enough? Because from my point of view, I thought this was maybe going to be a quieter window for Chelsea. I think you probably thought that as well.
But look,
where they weren't going to go like bang, bang, bang,
but
bang, bang.
I still think it is a bit relatively quiet window.
Well, the thing is, it's not finished.
I
mean, you say it's quiet, but they've already spent nearly, I think it's about 230, 240
million. But they've accumulated about 120 odd million of sales.
Yeah. So
people don't really look at it; they just see what they're buying. Coming back to my point with the woman on the overlap, what it is it's kind of like, yes, they are buying players, but remember the sole point of these guys, they have come from a private equity background. So what they're thinking is maybe we put our investment in this player for 20 million euros or $20 million, 20 million pounds. Hopefully he comes to Chelsea, he plays either at Shrewsbury or at Chelsea, develops himself, becomes a player. We might be able to sell him for 30 million or for 35 million. It's a quick profit for them if you sometimes look at it like that way. And yes, I have opened my eyes up in the summer to say, look, I criticised them with the whole Potter thing. I think for Potter, I did give him a chance. Maybe not for long enough, but it kind of didn't develop for him and he kind of lost his way. But coming back to now is that I can see what they're trying to do. And I think people just need to be a bit patient. We had loads of players, a loan army as such, even during Roman Abramovich. The whole reason FIFA or UEFA put the whole issue through of a loan where you could only loan certain players outside of Europe, or if you could loan to teams outside Europe or in Europe, and you could do more locally, was because of Chelsea. Because Chelsea literally had a loan army and they were loaning out players everywhere, and we've always had that. It's just now it just seems to be more because the way they're spending and the whole.
Do you also think they're not sort of kind of counter-attacking themselves in two ways? I'd say one is, I understand protecting asset value by giving them long contracts, but it can also
go the other way.
We know it can work the other way, which is maybe something. I'm not saying they're not aware of. Look, they're not dumb. People that come, but maybe they're not as clued on as in football terms as to what can happen. We know, you know, this season someone's amazing. Next season the value might be 10 million, 50 million to 10. It could easily change. And secondly, are they kind of shooting themselves in the foot when it comes to asset value with the way they're treating sort of Conor Gallagher and is it Trevor Chalobah who they've kind of just banned from being first
Connor's
training?
gone to
He's gone, but I mean it was kind of like, you know, why go to that extent with them?
Connor wasn't going to be part of the US tour anyway because of how he went with England, but I think personally he would have still come and onto the tour with Chelsea if he got picked because he didn't play enough. He didn't play enough, and I don't agree with the way they've treated Chalobah and Connor. I think they've not treated them greatly. They've always put out in the public, he doesn't fit our system. There was no need to put any of that out. What they should have just sat down and been honest with him and said, look, this is where we think we are going to sell you because we just feel as though you're not part of our plans.
All right.
At least if they were upfront and honest with him, then it's different. I would get the situation. But they weren't. They just kept on putting stuff out.
I did read today that they banished like him from first team training and stuff.
Connor's gone. Chalobah, I've heard it's Chalobah, Lukaku.
From someone's point of view, if you did that, you're not thinking.
Lukaku, is he still playing for Chelsea?
He's still.
That's a great one. He hates Lukaku.
I love Lukaku. But there's not just him.
But I mean, does that not kind of work in the opposite to when
of course it does.
To the value of a player? Because if I know tomorrow you're playing for a team, you're not happy, you've been banished, why am I going to pay full value for you?
Yeah, of course.
I think, look, they've got a problem on their hands now. He's 15 million.
No, but the other issue that how they would counteract that, example I give you is Mark Gahey, who's looking to leave Crystal Palace. There are certain rumours, I don't know if people just putting 2 and 2 together and coming out with 5, that they might offer Trevor in part of that deal and try signing him.
Okay.
So, see, look, I think they're using players like that. The other one is Lukaku and Kepa might be part of the deal to get Arsenal.
No, I totally understand that, but I just think, is there any point...
No, you're right, though.
Is there any point banishing someone from first team training just because maybe they've turned around and said they don't want to leave?
Even if you were to do that...
Because that doesn't protect asset value. It just does the opposite.
But I agree. Even if you were to do that, would you let it get out to the public domain where you have done that?
But if you're doing that, there's a reason you're doing it, and it's to get it out there. But again, I don't know why they're doing it. So obviously the other big signing that Chelsea have made is Pedro Neto.
That was, I'll be honest with you, that's like the old Chelsea as such, where just bang.
They kind of did that with Mudryk as well, didn't they, last year? It kind of came out of nowhere.
It did.
It was just that it was all the way through. He's linked with Arsenal, linked with Arsenal. Bang, Chelsea came in and brought him. So they do have that in them, and they're very good. Look, one thing we will say is Chelsea are very good at getting the deal done. Whether they pay what they pay, but they are very good at getting it done. But Pedro Neto, anyway, what do you think of him?
For me, if he stays fit, quality signing. Me personally, I think he fits Maresca's way of playing as well, and his system as such. But he's just got that quality where he can take a man on. He's not afraid to shoot. Final ball's good.
I think if you are talking about injuries, this season Chelsea is quite good with injuries, isn't it? Most of the players are fit.
Correct. From pre-season, we've touched wood. We've not had any long-term injuries in pre-season yet. That's true. What do you call it? We've gone to America. We've come back with no long-term injuries as well. So that's kind of, like I said again, touch wood. Now, would you say is that down to Poch last year, or would you say no? It's just, I don't know, luck, or the players looking after themselves. For me, it's hard to say. For me, I just think dry pitches out in America. Maresca was right last week when he was criticising it, saying, look, we should have been back in London a week earlier. So after we played Man City, we had Real Madrid, and then we've come back. We should have not played Real Madrid. But then you've got the ownership now who want to stay over in America, because I think they've received like a couple of million for that game. Yeah. So it kind of, for them, it works.
Yes.
And they want to get the name out in America as well. But Pedro Neto, sorry, going back to him, I think, again, quality signing. I can see it working as long as he stays fit. And I think for 51 million quid plus add-ons of 3 odd million, 54 million call it, I think it's a good deal if he goes on to do well.
Yeah, it's a good sign. I mean, you always win for a winger, because you were in for Elise at the start.
Yeah.
That didn't work
Exactly,
out.
So and to be fair, it's a good omen. Last year we were in for Elise. We didn't get Elise. We bought Palmer.
Yeah.
Look how he's turned out. We were in for Elise this year. We didn't get Elise. And we've now got Neto.
So Pedro, the reason we say about his injuries, because he used to play for Wolves before he's now going to Chelsea. But his injury record there was not great. So when he would get injured, it would always be a long-term injury. He'd be out for like 6 months, 7 months.
Yeah.
So that's just where they've got to manage him to make sure. It's hard to say. Some players, they kind of lose that bit. Some players, they keep it.
Look, the truth is, like you said, you never know with injuries. Some players come back from an injury and then grow stronger, and the recovery is really well. It doesn't really happen again. Some players obviously come back and it kind of happens again and again. And it's a good time actually to address the audience. First, if you want to guys comment about what's happening at Chelsea, what you think is the plan. And to be fair, look, I don't know 100% of what I think the owners are doing, but also my view is what you've heard. So maybe if you guys think any better, you could let me know, or whatever you think actually, you could let us know. And also what you think of Pedro Neto. That's a good one to start off with. And also what you think in terms of the striker situation. Who do you think they should still sign? Or you think that's it, call it off, don't sign any more players. There's too many. But just let us know in the comments what you guys think.
So the other one that I wanted to talk about was not so much transfer in, was transfer out. Man City selling Julian Alvarez for like 80 million.
I think they've done really well with him.
Really well.
Yeah, I know. I think
really,
they signed him.
Really well.
They signed him for like 14 million.
And
like, what is it? 2 seasons later.
Was it from River Plate? I think they signed him.
Yeah,
I think it's from River
2
Plate.
seasons later now. They sold him to Atletico Madrid for about 85 million.
Yeah. So they've made a good, healthy profit on him.
Atletico know their strikers. There's one thing I'll give them. Costa, Torres, Aguero. They've had some top strikers over the years.
They have. Even Griezmann's been really good for them.
But they've always kind of signed them cheap.
Yeah.
And then developed them into what they are. But this is, I don't know, it's 80 million's a lot of money.
See, look, there's people who are criticising, saying, why is there no Premier League clubs that came in for him? I think purely for the fact that Man City kind of
they want to learn.
They're starting to learn their lesson a little bit, because they let Zinchenko and Jesus go to Arsenal for relatively okay fees.
Yeah, 45 million, 30 million.
But then you'd thought the summer later they'd learned their lesson by not selling to not a rival but another Premier League club. They did and they didn't really. They didn't sign. They didn't let a senior player leave. They let a fringe young player leave in Palmer to Chelsea. But then that's kind of like...
we say backfires on them, but has
but
it? They've won 4 titles in a row.
Will
they win a 5th?
Exactly. Yeah, probably. Yeah, no, it's true.
It's like, I think, I heard it on the radio that day as well, that are they really bothered that much? No, they did get 50 million for Palmer, which at the time...
Everyone thought
it still is, because
they've done really well
that time when they sold him, he was relatively unknown of what he could do. They got 45-50 million from us for Jesus.
Every club goes through that where they let players go and they come back to bite them. Salah, Kevin De Bruyne happen, but even to an extent you could say Lukaku. He's bitten us twice, 3 times even. I don't know how many times he's bitten us. So you can say.
I mean, look, I would say it's biting you if you're not successful.
Yeah.
But with City's case, they've, if anything, just been more successful. So it doesn't really matter.
No, it's in terms of
they're very good at selling. If anything, they're getting them 85 82 million.
I think,
it is
but I think that's probably the first good
fee.
sale they've made though. I can't.
Okay.
Yeah, but who's another sale that they've look?
I mean, even look like they sold Jesus to us for like 45, 50 million. They sold,
it's 40 million
I
plus
think they
5
sold
million.
Sterling to you guys for
40
million.
40 million plus 5 million.
So I mean, they brought him for 50. So.
Yeah.
No, and they got like what eight
like that. Yeah,
years
but
out of it.
even really at the time, you might have thought Sterling might have gone for a little bit more with the current market.
Maybe, but I mean, it's still a good sale.
Yeah,
You've not lost out, really.
Yeah.
You
But
paid his wages and carried on.
Alvarez has to be their best sale.
Oh, 100%. This is one of the best sales in the Premier League.
I think you can't.
The Premier League are very good at buying. We're not always the best
at selling.
Unless they're selling to another Premier League team.
Look, Liverpool smashed it with Coutinho.
Yeah, but like I said,
that's a
if
one-off
they're selling to
thing. Yeah, there's a completely one-off though, isn't it? But no, I think. But how do you think he'll do at Madrid?
I don't know. He's a very good striker in terms of his finishing, his ball striking, his movement. He's got it all there, but 85 million is a lot of money.
Yeah, look, personally, we were linked with him, and I'm quite glad we didn't get him because I think it's an Nkunku type of striker. He needs another forward with him. He's not really. That's how I
still
think.
scored a lot of goals.
He did.
And when Haaland was out for like 3 months last season, he was stepping up.
But I just still think that Man City don't really play to Haaland's strength at times, but that's another subject we could talk about. Yeah, that's a different.
Anyway, let us know what you think about that guys. Deal, guys.
Yeah.
Spurs, Solanke, 65 million.
I think they paid over the odds.
You think?
I think they paid over the odds.
Hard to say, isn't it? Really. I mean, you probably would have looked at it and said, "Were you better off going for Ivan Toney?"
Yeah, they were apparently linked with Pedro Neto, and then
so if you look at sort of Tony's record, bar last season, there's 2 seasons before that he scored 20 and 20. You look at Solanke's record. This is the first time he's hit double digits.
But that's what you were saying though. Like you don't know how he's going to do next season now. So would you take a £65 million gamble on it?
It's a lot of money.
That's what I'm saying. It's.
They kind of did that with Richarlison, and I think it really worked out.
It's not really worked out because apparently he was linked with Saudi, and he doesn't want to go there because he wants to play in the Premier League or he wants to go back to Brazil. And I was thinking more like he didn't get the ka-ching, he didn't get enough money basically.
He definitely would have got enough money from Saudi.
Exactly, yeah. But not what he might
not what he was thinking.
What he was thinking about. Maybe that's why he didn't. But I think it's a bit of a gamble, Solanke.
It seems like, and
I don't mind him.
I don't think I'm having a dig at Spurs, but it seems like a Spurs signing.
Yeah, you are.
No, I mean in the sense that
own it like I do.
I mean in the sense that when other teams are not necessarily in for a player, because I mean I don't know if they were or not, but there wasn't a lot of rumours or links around Solanke. There was like a few saying Arsenal have looked at him or might look at him, but I don't think we were ever in for him.
But apparently their 2 top targets were Solanke and Pedro Neto. So if they've still lost out on Neto and they've got one of them.
A good deal for Bournemouth as well. I think. Who were Bournemouth going for? They were going for a striker that I know.
I think Bournemouth have come out. Yeah, but I think Bournemouth have come out with a decent, in fact, not ish, decent deal out of that. 65 million.
Yeah, and they were going to get someone as well. That was relatively well known.
If
I remember it,
it just speaks to you about what's happening with Tony, really. What is it? Something that the teams are looking.
By now it would have been wrapped up. So
Ivan Toney's a player, English striker. He got banned last year for gambling, and he was gambling on games that he was playing.
Oh, right.
So he had a ban of, what was it, about 8 months? Was it 6 to 8 months?
I think it was 6 months.
Yeah. It was, and he'd come back and he started off really well, but then it's kind of tailed off a bit. But then some people were saying, could it be his attitude? He played quite well when he came.
He's had a few again controversial moments.
Yeah. Where he said a few
things that haven't sat right with people. So I don't know. I wouldn't take a gamble on Tony purely because of where Arsenal's position is. I think if we were really, really crying out for a striker, I would. But I don't think.
But do you think? I think I've asked you this before. Do you think in some of the games that you drew or you lost a few at the start of the season against West Ham? You lost against West Ham.
Yeah, but I'm saying no. I know what you're going to ask. I'm saying no to it already.
So you take that loss.
I don't think a striker would have helped in that situation. We just weren't good in the game at all. We didn't create in.
Well,
We did. We did create
it.
it. I don't think against West Ham we did. It was against Brentford, I think. Not Brentford.
No.
Sorry, Villa. It was Villa when we lost the first game.
Yeah.
We had about 35 shots.
No, but I think you had West Ham. It's a
Yeah,
good thing to have a
it was
look at.
either West Ham or Fulham, I think, where we struggled to create chances.
Because you lost against West Ham at home and then you lost against Fulham away straight after. You lost
I just don't know if like a 60, 70 million pound striker helps us in that.
No, but do you think an Ivan Toney might have scored in one then?
I just think for Arsenal, it's not worth the gamble because of where our squad is right now. Everyone's happy. They're all good. Do you bring a disruptive element into that? You can't. If we took a punt on someone like Solanke for 30 million or 35, I'd be over that all day. I'd be happy with that, no problem. Again, I wouldn't pay 65 million for him.
That's what, when I heard the news...
You know, if we took like a 30 million or a 40 million punt, there's nothing wrong with that because the new 30 or 40 million is like paying 10, 15 million.
The other thing is, what about, all right, mate, Big Ange, you spent about 350 odd million now.
That don't count.
No, but apparently, like, if
it
you
don't
spend
count,
quite a lot
counts
for 2
when
years.
someone else does it. That's
But all he's got to come out and say mate a couple of times, and everyone's all happy about it, aren't they?
The Spurs dig.
Omar's moving on twice.
That is 99% remember that.
Yeah, so it's actually a good place to end the podcast. If I'm honest with you, it's been very controversial episode.
And as always, guys, like, subscribe, and share, and we'll see you next time.